Hey everybody, just getting set up here with my social sharing. I'm just going to do a quick share to Reddit and then we will be fully live in all of the ways. Just posting it to the Small YouTubers Boost subreddit, giving it a quick approval, and making that a sticky post just for the duration of this broadcast. So let me just get everything set up here. I think I've done all the sharing I need to do. Close that, turn off my speakers. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done this. I'm hearing audio good in chat. Chat is just flying, which is awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's make the big reveal with my big old face. Hey, that worked. All right. Cool. Okay, so welcome to our 300,000 member celebratory live stream. Easy for me to say. So the group has been holding at 299,999 people for a while. And any of you who've noticed might be wondering why that is. And part of that is because we have been wanting to make sort of a big splash around the 300K announcement. In particular, we've partnered with someone for a rather substantial contest that we've got coming. So let me just get some of the details here, because if you're curious about the contest, let's just get that out of the way so that you're not wondering the whole way through. Now, I'm not ready to reveal everything just yet. And if you watched the last video, was it the last video or the one before? I think it was the one before. So if you watched that not paying creators thumbnail there about the recent policy changes, towards the end of that, I had a chapter that was called Secret. And if you go there, I kind of teased out this upcoming contest that we've got coming. And so I'm going to share a little bit more detail with you than before, but still not everything. So we are partnering with someone for an amazing contest in the group. I'm going to keep that someone secret for now. The contest, current plans, things might be subject to change. Nothing's been, signed yet necessarily. But the current plan is that the contest will begin on November 26th. And the contest will involve you submitting something, which we'll explain a little closer to the actual launch of the thing. The deadline for submissions will be November 30th. At midnight Pacific Standard Time, because I'm in the Pacific time zone, so y'all just kind of have to put up with it. And there's going to be terms and conditions people have to agree to. The winners will be selected by the moderating team of the group. And we hope to announce the winners on December 3rd. And so you're probably wondering, okay, what do I get? You're not telling me what I have to do to enter. Fair enough. What do I win? So our grand prize is going to be either, you get a choice, a GoPro Hero 9 or a Canon Rebel T7 or an equivalent. So you'll probably have a choice there between which of those you would like. On top of that, there will also be a 4 terabyte rugged hard drive from, I'm not sure if I'm saying the brand right, Lassie, I don't know. And also, you're going to be getting something from our sponsor as well in terms of their thing, which I'm going to keep quiet. And so there will be, the current plan is there will also be 2 runner-up positions, which will include the hard drive as well as possibly a year of the product from our sponsor. So I just thought I'd get that out there and make that little announcement right at the top so I don't leave you wondering. And now that I have done that, let's go check in with chat and see how chat is doing. So here we go. Shade Princess's Beneficial Knowledge, who was commenting recently on my video about comments, which was awesome. So welcome. Glad to have you here. Says, hey, everybody. Ekpajator, that's the only time I'm going to try and say that, and I am sorry, I am sure I butchered that, says hi. iFun Chris is back, welcome back. We did a channel review for you in the past. We've got a channel review request there. Got my thumbs up on. Thank you. Yes, anyone who can give this a thumbs up would be fantastic. You might have noticed over the last little week or so I've been trying to do a little bit more with this channel. For a lot of reasons, partly because I wanted to kind of have some build up for our 300K, but also because with Vlogmas coming, I know that there's going to be a lot of creators that are going to be going, pardon the expression, balls to the wall over the holidays even, where a lot of you, I suspect, are going to be trying to put out a video every single day for an entire month. And that is a slog, and that is difficult. I've done it myself once it wasn't in Vlogmas, it was at the beginning of, I think, 2017 I did that, a video a day for a month, and it was so draining. And so what I want to do is, especially for those of you doing Vlogmas, I wanted to get some useful tips out there to you, some advice, some things to put things in perspective, so that hopefully you're well equipped going into the silly season, the holiday season, and all of that, whether you're doing Vlogmas or not. But this is actually an important time for YouTubers, because this is the time of year, the most wonderful time of year, for ad revenue, because this is generally companies, depending on regardless of what their fiscal year is, normally their ad budget is set on a calendar year. And so as the end of the calendar year approaches, they look at their ad budget, and it's often a case of, well, I need to spend it, or maybe next year my budget won't be as much. Or I'm getting close to, I have to hit my targets by the end of the year. And so this is a time where they will often have like an ad blitz. So when there's more people advertising, the value and the cost to place an ad goes up. And of course, there's also the Christmas season. So with Black Friday, with Christmas, with Thanksgiving in the United States, with New Year's coming up, there's a lot of different products that people are wanting to promote, because the whole thing about Black Friday is everything after that in the year, generally for retail, that's like your profit margin. You know, you've made your costs up to then, and everything after that is your profit. And it's also the busiest selling time of the year for the holidays. And so there is aggressive ad competition to try and get your holiday dollars. Whether it's in terms of your holiday entertainment or the gifts that you're giving, food, those sorts of things, big ticket items for advertisers. And so that's great for YouTube channels, particularly if you're monetized. This channel isn't. My other channel, Vacation Impossible, is. And I've been seeing my ad rates tick up a little bit lately. So it's just that important time of year. So I wanted to make sure you guys were feeling well supported. But I do have a request for a channel review. Let me just quickly scan through the chat to make sure nobody's saying anything's messed up here. I'm assuming you all can hear me just fine. If not, do please let me know. But we do have a request for a channel review, and so let's get right into it. Not sure how long I'll be able to spend with y'all today, but I will spend as long as possible. I've been trying to start this live stream for like half an hour. Apparently, when YouTube updated their live dashboard, I guess they reset my streaming key, and I had no idea. So I was like launching OBS, going live, and talking to no one. But I eventually got it sorted, obviously, because you can see me now. We've got some chat going on. So the way that it works is, for a channel review, for those of you who haven't joined us before, I won't be watching any videos, and I will be giving you sort of first impressions. I have the TubeBuddy browser plugin installed, so I'm going to be using that as a tool to evaluate your channel. If you don't have TubeBuddy, there's an affiliate link down below. Highly recommend it. It's a tool I use every single day for my channel. And so I'm going to be using that to take a look at your channel from just an outside perspective, a guy who knows nothing, basically, about your specific channel. And I'm going to limit it to 30 minutes per person, because when I used to go 45, 60, or longer, people were kind of like, you're spending all your time on one person. So if you would like a longer channel review, you can contact me privately through either Facebook Messenger or direct message on Twitter. And we do paid reviews as well. So for basically the cost of like 2 combos at McDonald's, I'll give you a full 45 to 60 minute review. I'll post it on this channel so you can rewatch it as many times as you want, as well. Then you might get a little additional exposure because the video will be up on this channel. And of course, we'll link to your channel on that review. So if you don't get in today, there is that option, or if you find that the review isn't long enough, there is that other option out there. But for the live streams and for the free reviews, we do 30 minutes. So I'm going to start the clock. Clock is started. All right. So what I always like to do is I start by searching the name, just to see how searchable you are. And so your name is very unique. You have it locked down, it looks like. I'm not seeing any indication here of competition for the name, so that's fantastic. Your channel appears to come up first. That looks like it's a match from the icon from chat, so that's solid. And so looking at my Search Explorer here as part of the TubeBuddy browser extension, I see that the search volume for your name is low, and I think that's to be expected because I think that is your actual name. So unless you are already famous for something else, unless you're like a Jack Black or something, you probably aren't going to have high search volume on your name. And that's fine, though, because it also makes you unique, and you can kind of own the search term. And so you'll see the competition is low, which puts you into the excellent on competition. Search volume is poor, as I mentioned, the reasons for that. So that balances out to a 45 out of 100 score for the SEO on your channel name. Now, I try to make these reviews not just about you, and I talk about broader things so that everyone watching can hopefully get something out of it. And so one of the things that you might want to consider if you haven't started your channel yet, or you haven't hit your 100 subscribers yet, and you're not fully locked down on your branding and your name, is it might be worth considering how search-friendly is your name, because that's kind of where it begins. Now, once you've hit 100 subscribers and you get your custom URL, that name gets kind of locked in. So if you're already past that, then you're going to live with the name you got, for the most part. I generally don't recommend changing after that first 100 subscribers. And so our audience often has people who haven't started a channel yet, all the way up to people with more than 200,000 subscribers. We draw a very diverse audience here, and I'm very grateful for that. So I try to speak to the various experiences. So looking here, you have 393 subscribers. So if you don't already have your custom URL, go ahead and get it. That makes sharing so much easier, and I think it helps you a little bit with SEO as well once you get your name in there in that URL. I've got 62 videos out. So the description here, looking good is good business. I'm a reactionist. This sounds familiar. Have I looked at your channel before? I think I have. I remember this slogan, looking good is good business. And also I remember the reactionist thing, because I remember commenting how like that's an unusual way of putting it. Most people who react to things call themselves reactors, but because that's unique, that might be a good approach for you to brand yourself that way. I'm thinking I've looked at this channel before. As such, I'm probably not going to give the full half hour here, just because I know that there's a lot of people who are interested in reviews. So let's just see here. Which means I do, well, from an English standpoint here, I think that looking good is good business should be your first sentence. So put the period after business, and the next sentence should be, I'm a reactionist, which means I do reaction videos and a little bit of tips and tricks. So I think that's where the sentence break is. And because I'm a reactionist, full stop, new sentence, which means that doesn't make sense. It breaks up the flow of the thought. So that's just something I would suggest there. Diving right in. Also, your profile picture seems to be just you. So the profile picture doesn't tell me much about your channel. Ideally, you want a profile picture to give people, if possible, and it's hard because you don't have a lot of space, you want it to be unique, and you want it to give people an idea of what you're about. But that just seems to be a picture in which you are not the focal point, because you're not really centered, but the picture doesn't tell me anything about what the channel is about. And so if it's about you and your personality, if you're not already famous for other things, that can be a challenge. So like if you are doing reaction videos, if it was you looking like, one thing you might want to consider is if you had something like an icon of like a television here, and then you're like reacting to it, you're like, something like that, then that might be a little bit more clear. And so if it is a reaction, then like something like that, or you can put the YouTube logo and be like, if you're reacting to YouTube videos. Just a thought. In terms of the slogan, which I know I've said before, I like a lot, looking good is good business. If you were like, if you were dressed in a particular fashion or something, you could highlight it. Right now, that white sort of swoop is covering up any clothes you're wearing. So if you are about fashion at all, then you'd probably want to make what you're wearing a little bit more prominent. You know, I mean, I would think with a slogan like that, I would expect a business suit, right? Maybe with a unique look to it, like maybe it's got like a really thin tie or something, or something somewhat unique about it. But that's what I would associate with it personally, visually. But obviously, you know, make your own decisions there. So just getting back to this here, your channel banner. And full disclosure to everybody watching, I'm going to be a little harsh, but if I'm just here and saying nice things, I'm not giving you anything useful to work with. I try to make my feedback constructive, which for me means it has to have 3 components. It has to be specific. I can't just tell you you suck. I have to tell you where and how. It has to be prescriptive. I have to give you at least a suggestion on how you could improve it. And the third thing is this comes with no strings. I'm not expecting you to do this. If I come back to your channel in a few months and I see that you haven't done any of the things I suggested, that's totally fine. You don't have to do anything I say. These are just ideas. So those are the three sort of things I try to hit when I give feedback. So honestly, the banner looks kind of unprofessional because of the giant white bars on either side. It looks like you didn't have an image that was appropriate to the size of the banner, and so you just made do with what you had, which unfortunately doesn't look professional, because it makes me think, like, if that's the only picture you have of yourself, then, you know, how could you possibly be making quality videos, for example? So that's a little harsh, and I acknowledge that, but that's just, I think, how somebody would look at this. And so I think it's important to hear that kind of harsh feedback if necessary. So it says, I do reaction videos. That's fine. You could drop off the I do. It doesn't have to be a sentence. This is kind of branding. So you could just have your name there, which I think looks good. It pops nicely. And underneath that, you could just have reaction videos, which is cool. One thing I noticed is you've switched fonts between the first line and the second two. I would recommend finding one font that you like and sticking with it. I think the first font is a little bit better because it's, I think it would scale better. It's got less curves and sort of like little things coming off of it. So it looks good at all zoom factors, all resolutions. Whereas the second font, it's a little bit more stylized. It gets really thin in parts. Like, look at the letter E in reaction. At the top, the middle, and the bottom, it gets real thin. And so when you zoom out really far from that, that could be hard to see. Just as one simple example. So I like the block text better for things where you don't control the resolution it will display at. And so the font I generally recommend, and I use quite frequently, is called Bebus. Or Bebus New. Both of them you can get for free. A simple Google search will find it for you. You can install it on your machine and then use it with all your major software, Photoshop, Premiere, etc., etc. That's one recommendation. If you're someone in the meme space, then obviously Impact Font is probably something you might want to consider. My recent thumbnail on this channel, I was kind of going for a thumbnail look, so I went with Impact, and it's like the first time I've used Impact in a very long time. But so far the feedback on my new thumbnail says, congratulations, somebody hates you. I'm getting really positive reaction to that because they're saying it's funny, so that's fantastic. If you want to watch that video after this live stream, it's all about how to deal with hate comments on your YouTube channel and how you can actually use them to grow your channel. I highly recommend it. So anyways, there's that. And a little bit of tips and tricks. That's okay. Again, and a little bit of feels a little unnecessary. You could say just and tips and tricks. Or you could put tips, and tips and tricks, I think, is probably what I would do. But really, I think the key thing is you're going to want to find a background image you can use that fills the whole space in the way that you want. There's a lot of templates out there that will give you like an overlay you can put as like an additional layer in Photoshop, for example, that'll show you all the different ways your banner crops on different devices, whether it's a phone, a desktop computer, a tablet, a gaming console, your TV, whatever. And so you want to make sure that the essential visual elements are contained in the smallest box, because that means it will appear everywhere. But you need the image to look good on all the devices. And so you're going to want to look where those lines are. And if the lines cut somebody's face in half, if that's the look you're going for, awesome. If not, you might want to adjust the image. Just some things to think about there. I see you've got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook all set up. You've got YouTube here. YouTube's a little weird. This is a link to subscribe. That feels redundant to me because this is a small link here versus the big subscribe button there. But I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it. That's okay. But it is a little recursive because it'll cause the page to reload with that prompt saying, oh, do you want to subscribe? Because I see you did the question mark sub underscore confirmation equals one thing, which is a good trick. I'm not sure if it's beneficial in the banner, but ultimately, of course, that choice is yours. This is interesting here. A shark attack made me famous. And that's a very intriguing title, but it has 18 views. So it's like, how famous? Famous how? Like, did it make you famous on television? And maybe that hasn't translated onto YouTube yet. I don't know. So, I don't know, something to think about. And your description begins with, thank you all so much for watching. I would remove that. That does not help you. That is not searchable, and it is not relevant to the subject of your video. My recommendation is take your title and put it in, again, where you say, thank you so much for watching. And then immediately from there in, sentence form, explain a little bit more. At 10 years old, I was attacked by a shark and I made the local news, and so everyone in my town knows my name. Here's the story of that adventure, or something like that, where you explain it a bit more. That serves two purposes. One, it gives your audience more of a description. Like me right now, I'm less inclined to watch because I still don't really know what it's about. I have a sense, obviously, but if it had more information, I'd be more inclined to watch it myself. And secondly, that provides more information for the algorithm. It provides search engine optimization keywords that you could have. And so that will improve your video's positioning in search and recommend it. So I think that's really important. You got a link here to your Instagram. It looks like it's a longer version of the link. I think you could shorten that so it doesn't go on. Similar to your Twitter link. King Jace, right. Okay, yes, King Jace. I know King Jace. Yeah, I've definitely reviewed your channel before. And yeah, I remember that thumbnail of that crazy wool cake thing. So anyways, I've given you a few more things to think about there. I see you got a TubeBuddy, you're subscribed to the TubeBuddy channel, that's cool. The Tech It Realm. The Tech It Realm has actually said very nice things about Small YouTubers Boost, the Facebook group. So, I mean, I've never spoken to him, and so that was kind of cool to hear when that happened like a year or two ago. So anyways, sharing the subscriptions down here is an interesting choice. I probably wouldn't, but that's just me. This playlist at the bottom is not yet full. I tend to not add playlists to my home screen until I have 6 or more videos in the playlist. I got a playlist of playlists, that's good. You got uploads and popular uploads, that's all solid. But since I have reviewed your channel before, I think I'm going to jump back into chat. I want to give everybody a chance, but hopefully I've given you some additional things to possibly think about and work on there. Let's see here. Hey all, inspirational quotes and how-tos. I guess is what Sade Princess's Beneficial Knowledge does, which is cool. I like that. I'm all about that. In fact, several books I have linked below include things that I find to be inspirational and sort of how-to. iFund Chris also would like a channel review. I know I've reviewed iFund Chris's channel before. I'm just going to stop this clock here and reset. So again, this is going to be a light touch review if it's one that I've already done before, because I want to give people opportunities. Good picture here. I like that. It's got your logo here. Nice to see. The fun is here on iFund Chris. The fun is on my website, Facebook, and YouTube too. For that, I would restructure that second sentence a little bit to say, for more fun, check out my website and Facebook. Something like that. Because we're already here, we're already on YouTube. So YouTube isn't really the also, the as well, the two. And so when I see that, I'm like, wait, do you just want me to go to your website? Did you not want me to check out your channel? And I guess please check it out. And so again, I also really recommend that the fun is here on iFund Chris, and then you should pivot immediately to what you do, what you cover. Fun means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some people, fun is hitting the nightclub, obviously pre-COVID, and just dancing the night away. I used to do that a lot myself. And fun for other people is, reading a quiet book on a cruise ship. And I love cruise ships, but not so much reading a quiet book on them. I like a podcast on a cruise ship, though. But people define fun very differently. For some people, there's nothing more fun than playing video games. For other people, they just want to sit and be entertained by, their television. Fun can mean almost anything that brings you joy. So, if you can be any more specific, I think that'd be advantageage. I like your banner. It's very 90s. I think I said this before to a previous iteration of your banner, or maybe not. My mind is starting to go. 2020 is wearing me down. But this feels very sort of Saved by the Bell-like. And so as somebody who was, I'm a child of the 80s, and so I was a teenager through the 90s, I'm a big fan of this aesthetic. And so I think this looks fantastic. I like it. Again, the only thing that it might be lacking is not making it fully clear what it's about. So you could maybe add some, thinking about the Saved by the Bell thing, when those title credits came up, things would school buses and party hats and lunchboxes or whatever the hell, denim jackets went flying by in the background. So maybe adding some icons or little clip art things or something, little transparent PNGs that give a bit of a hint. I'm looking now a little bit further. I remember now, yeah, you do a lot of pie face videos. So yeah, maybe something of a pie being thrown or something from that, then that would have the additional benefit of communicating what your channel is about. But that's pretty good. We've got the fun is here. That's a link to your website, I imagine. It looks like it. Yeah, it does. ifunchris.com. Good URL you got there. And linking to the Facebook, it looks like page for you, which is not your personal page, but the page for the channel, which is good. You got your 119 subscribers, so if you don't already have your custom URL, I highly recommend you go and get it. And I recommend iFunChris as what the URL should be. And YouTube would probably recommend it as well, unless it had already been taken by someone else. Best of videos. How many videos have you done? You've done quite a few, haven't you? You've done 43 videos, but it looks like you've only been able to find 3 that you considered the best of. So I strongly recommend you go find another 3 that you consider to be some of your best, and add those in here as well. Just to complete the presentation of that. Now, if you're looking at your channel on mobile, if you're one of those people who only does mobile, I can understand why it might not look this way to you, but that's part of why we're going through this exercise, is so you can see it on a desktop. With people trending towards mobile, sometimes we forget how it looks on desktop, and that is also important. A lot of people still watch on desktop. And tablets often display a lot like desktop does as well. Recently added. That's kind of cool. I like that. Instead of like just uploads, calling it recently added. That gives you a little bit of a distinct look and branding there, so I like that. Thumbnails, not a lot of consistency across them, but they're pretty good. So just one thing you might want to consider is what you might want to do to make them more consistent if you wanted to. Oldest YouTube videos. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a more positive branding spin we could put on this. I'm thinking, what about something like nostalgia videos? Nostalgic? I don't know, because then people might expect you to be reviewing like 80s video games or something. That might be misleading. I'm just wondering if there's a better way than that. You know, iFunChris, the early days, the early years. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the way it is. It's pretty good. I'm just wondering if we could punch it up a little bit, just because sadly, old often carries a negative connotation with it, and generally doesn't like drive excitement necessarily, especially for like sort of the YouTube demographic, generally speaking. iFunChris liked other videos. Okay, so these are videos from other people that you've liked. It's nice that you're willing to share it. Not sure that I would feature it too prominently on your homepage, but that's certainly a choice you can make. And again, we've got the past video, but you've also got oldest YouTube videos. I think this feels redundant to me, even though I can see you're not necessarily sharing the same videos, although there is a duplication of 2 of them. So what I would suggest is go for just one of the 2. 2 feels a little redundant. And then you've got a couple where there's just a single video across the side, if that's something you want to do. And then you've got marketing. I'm curious about that, what that's all about. I see you're a fan of video influencers, which is what's his name? Scott, what's his name? And video creators, which is Schmoyer, Tim Schmoyer. I like their stuff. Tim Schmoyer was one of the first sort of creator support channels I started watching until I found Roberto Blake, and then I just I just watch his stuff all the time. But every now and then I do like to go back to a Tim Schmoyer video. And video influencers, yeah, some of their live streams a little bit here and there. Anyways, like I said, since this is a channel I've reviewed before, I don't want to spend too much time on it, because I know there are people that I've never seen before that I might be able to offer a bit more help. Can we all just take a little time now to sub to ourselves? Okay, I want to address that comment because there's a couple problems there. One, if we're talking just like subscribing to your own channel, that's not a thing you can really do. So like I'm logged in as Vacation Impossible right now. If I go to my own channel, how does that look? I haven't really looked at it this way in a while. Like, yeah, there's no subscribe button when you're on your own channel. So if you mean just simply subscribing to yourself, that's not a thing you can do. Now, on the other hand, if you're suggesting that we all go and subscribe to each other, I've got to stop you right there. And I would refer you to YouTube's fake engagement policy. I strongly recommend anyone here who hasn't read it, go and read it. Because if you run afoul of that policy, your channel could get taken away from you. It could get terminated. It could get terminated without any warning, without any recourse. And not only that, when your channel gets terminated, technically you are not permitted to create a new channel. You are done on the platform. So some sort of sub for sub thing is simply not worth it because it doesn't work anyways, and it's just a huge violation of the terms of service. I can't tell you how many people have come into my Facebook group, well over at least 300, guaranteed, have come into the group saying, oh, my channel got shut down for no reason. And the conversation always goes the exact same way. No reason? Well, were you doing sub for sub? Oh, sure I was. But I was watching 3 minutes or some other part of the scam. Regardless. And so they and they say, like, how do I get this fixed? I'm like, there is no fix. You broke the rules. They caught you. Actions have consequences. Sub for sub is fraud. And it's very strong language, but I need to get the word out there because I don't want anyone watching this channel, or this live stream. I don't want anyone watching to lose your channel and get banned from the platform. I understand how it might initially make a little sense. Oh, I want help from people. I should probably offer something in exchange. I want subs, so I should offer. I get that thought process. And it can come from a completely innocent, well-meaning and intentioned place, but it can kill your chance on the platform. It can terminate your channel, ban you from the platform for life, and it will do the same to the other people involved in the scam. And it is a scam. And so please, I strongly, strongly encourage you, if you haven't read YouTube's fake engagement policy, give it a read. It's a screen and a half. It's worth your time. In our Facebook group, our rule number 1 is you have to adhere to the fake engagement policy. We don't enforce the community guidelines because that's tricky and we're not trained on it. We don't enforce a bunch of other things, but the one thing we enforce with reckless abandon, with consistency, with no apologies, is the fake engagement policy, because that will kill your channel. So please, 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 I am begging you, don't do that. I don't want, my heart goes out to people, especially when they said, I worked on this channel for years. It's like, yeah, and then you chose to commit fraud. And so it sucks. But there's nothing we can do after that happens. So don't cross that line. Just ever, 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 ever. I beg of you. So with that having been said, and I don't know if that's what you were suggesting, but it could be taken that way. And so I just really wanted to make it abundantly clear how that works so that no one else makes that mistake. So moving on from that, we've got someone here. This looks like a channel I don't think I've looked at before. We've got Frenzy Game Over. And for those of you who are probably like, Ray, you're so far behind in chat, I go chronologically in chat because it's really the only fair way to do it and give everyone a fair shot. And so if I don't get to your comment or your channel review request or request whatever, again, you can contact me through Facebook Messenger or a Twitter DM, and then maybe we can arrange something, some sort of paid consultation or channel review. And like I said, it's generally like the cost of 2 combos of like two Big Mac combos at McDonald's, or two Whopper combos or something. Like that's the price range I'm at right now, subject to change. That's why I'm not throwing a dollar number out there. Depends on my schedule. But for as much as 2 combos, maybe we can get your channel off the ground. So. That's just how I can manage my time, because I've got way more requests than I've got time. And so if I did it for free, I would spend my whole life doing it and nothing else. And I got to eat myself. I need to have my combos. So Frenzy Gamer, starting the clock. Sorry, Frenzy Game Over. So your logo is pretty nice. It says Frenzy. It's in a font that's this sort of paint font that is kind of like, it feels a little quickly done, so I get that sense of a frenetic kind of energy, which I think is great. The name is Game Over. So again, what I would think to possibly do, just to use your profile picture to also communicate what you're about, is if there was something like a controller, which I know is generic, so many people use it, something like it, something that says video game. Because looking at it, you could be doing extreme stunts. For all I know, you could be doing urbex, urban exploration. You could be doing all sorts of different things. You could be the craziest drone pilot. I don't know. Just looking at it, and so there's nothing wrong with it though, because it does look very professional, and so I like that aspect of it. But if I were to make a suggestion, it would possibly be to do that, and maybe to add a drop shadow on the text if you want to make it pop just a bit more. But by and large, I think that what you've got is good. If you stick with it, that's fine. So low search volumes for that, which makes sense, but no competition on the name. So you've got your channel name on lock, so that's good. 105 videos. Looks like you're hiding your subscriber count, which I know that it's really in vogue right now for some reason. A lot of people are posting in the group, oh, I hid my subscriber count and suddenly got, a whole bunch of subscribers. I don't buy into that personally for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think we can know if that's what took it off. Like if you hid your subscriber count and a video went viral at the same time, how do you know how many subscribers came from the fact that you went viral and how many from the fact that, I don't know, not knowing your subscriber count made people subscribe? I know there's people out there who feel very strongly other direction, and hey, if you want to, follow that path, that's fine. My recommendation is to keep this information available. I think that people love an underdog. I think people love feeling like let's put YouTube aside for a moment. Let's think more broadly about this year we're in, this 2020 year. I think people like to feel like they're soldiers and not victims. And I know I'm like, whoa, that got serious for a second, right? But no, seriously, right now, in this year particularly, people feel disempowered, I think. We have to stay home. We have to wear masks. We can't go to a movie theater. We can't travel. There's so much that we can't do. And it wouldn't be surprising if a lot of us felt like our influence was minimized because we can't go see people and do what we want. We feel a little powerless. And so I think being part of a team, seeing I subscribed and watching that count go up, I feel like I've contributed in some small way to someone else's success, and I see the impact of what I've done. I'm on that team. You can see some of the people that I'm subscribed to over to the side there. And so that's just my personal feeling. And this is just my personality. Other people could feel different. But if I go to a channel and I see that they've got tons of subscribers, I think that's a good thing. I think, all these other people think this channel's pretty awesome. Maybe it is. I'll join the pack. This is tried and true and tested, and people like it. I'm on board. If I go to a channel that has good quality content, but a relatively low subscriber count. Not to pick on anybody, but a couple of people who make good quality content and their subscriber count, I don't think accurately reflects that. Max Hickson is fantastic. Stupid Robot Fighting League, a couple of examples. They're doing things that I don't think anyone else is really doing that I absolutely adore. And so when I see that they've got like less than 1,000 subscribers or whatever, as is last I checked, the case was Stupid Robot Fighting League, which offends my sense of right and wrong in the universe, because he should have a lot more. But when I see that, I think I wanna support them. And so I definitely want to subscribe for that reason. And I might even be a bit more inclined to share their content. If I'm seeing somebody who's huge that I'm following, I don't know, like a Pat Contry or someone, I don't feel like, if I tweet about them, what does that really do? And if I mention them on this live stream, if you're a fan of retro gaming, you probably know who Pat the NES Punk is. He doesn't need me to plug him. I don't need to plug AVGN. If you enjoy retro games, you know who he is. He has 3 million subscribers. But when I have an opportunity to mention like, hey, Max Hickson's music is amazing. Check out his Christmas song on Spotify. I love it. And I mean that sincerely. I feel like I'm actually doing that in a way that might make a difference. And so I feel a little bit more engaged with it. So that's sort of my psychological reaction, my gut reaction when I see a large or a small subscriber count and everything in between. It's all kind of the same. But when I see someone has hidden their subscriber count, that's when I pull back a little. That's when I'm like, why are they not hiding this? Why are they hiding this information? Why are they not sharing it? It's probably just because some of the people I've encountered through the group, and this is probably not a common reaction, but like every now and then we'll see somebody put up a video. It's like how to get 1,000 subscribers overnight. And you see they have 34 subscribers themselves. And you're like, what the hell? In fact, I've received some of that criticism. I have a video on this channel about how to get 1,000 subscribers fast. And people are like, but on one channel you have 2,000 subscribers, on this one you only have 1,000. Like, why should I listen to you? And like my argument there is that I say, for one thing, I've learned a lot since I started. I didn't know all this stuff when I started. And so I'm trying to share what I've learned getting those 2,000 subscribers on one channel and 1,000 on the other. And for the other thing on this channel, this has not been my primary focus. I focus on our Facebook group, on my Vacation Impossible channel. This is kind of third in my online stuff, and that's after like my day job and my real life, And so I never put my full weight behind it, but I think I have ideas that can help people who have the time or who have made that their primary commitment, stuff like that. And so I get all that. But when I see that the subscription count is hidden, I feel like they're trying to avoid criticism. or they think that they can game the system that way. I feel like I'm not on the team because they're keeping secrets. Now, that's just me, and maybe I'm a crazy guy, and it's not a common approach because, like I said, hiding subscriber count seems to be very in vogue in 2020 for whatever reason. I've noticed in the last 3 months in our Facebook group, more and more people have been sharing what they think are success stories around it. Maybe it does work. I don't know. I think it's really hard to form the causality there to say that there's a definite link. So, anyways, enough about that. Let's get back into this one particular channel here before I burn my whole half hour. So the description: a simple guy who plays video games and does tutorials to help people get a better gaming experience. Subscribe if. There we go. Okay. A simple guy, I mean, I like that you're humble. I don't know that humility is what you want to lead with. First off, I'm humble. Now let me tell you what I'm about. So I think it's fine to include that humility, but I don't know right off the bat. I think tutorials to help people get a better gaming experience is the strong part there. Because a third of all of YouTube is gaming. So to find a guy playing video games, good luck. You could swing a dead cat and hit 7 of them. Good luck trying not to see a gamer on YouTube. It's practically impossible. And that's not a bad thing or anything, but I'm saying that it doesn't give you a competitive advantage. And so what I think, though, is your focus on a better gaming experience. This is what I think would make you special. Because there's a why in there. And I'm reaching for the book because I got to do it because I love this guy's stuff so much. Start with why. I've got a link to this in the description. It's a great book. You can also check out his TED Talk if you don't want to buy the book. Simon Sinek, I highly recommend it. And he talks about when you explain why you do things, people feel an emotional connection and they're more keen to support you on it. So I see your why there, that you want people to have a better gaming experience. And that's something people would want for themselves, and people are selfish. I don't think they care that you're a simple guy or that you're playing video games all that much. But if you can help me have a better gaming experience, there's my value, there's my selfish interest, there's my reason to click. So I would move that really early on. Have a better gaming experience through tutorials and playthroughs or whatever you do. Something like that. Put that right at the top, hook them right away. Something else to note, you got the smiley face there. It doesn't turn into an emoji in the description, but maybe that's just kind of retro, and that's fine. And then you start talking about subscribing right away. I think you're hitting that note a little early. I think you really want to make the value proposition before you make the ask. So yeah, have a better gaming experience through our tutorials and playthroughs, and then just a little bit more about what you do before you dive into asking people to subscribe would be my advice. Let's jump into the channel here. You've got membership. Okay, wow. So you should have a significant subscriber count. I know that the membership threshold for gamers is lower than other channel types for membership, and I know that they've been experimenting with things. But, I mean, the thing is, there are so many gamers out there, and I hate to say it, but seems to be a segment of the population that thinks, you know what, if I just hit record when I play a video game anyways, I'll be famous. And I think there's resentment against that mentality because they're not making a lot of effort. They're like, just because I am so inherently awesome that just by opening the window, people should come and want to watch me. And it doesn't feel like they're working for it or that they're giving a value proposition. And so you don't seem to be that. And so distinguish yourself from that. And I think one of the ways of doing that is showing that you have a substantial audience. When I see a gaming channel and its sub count is smaller, sometimes I fear that it's that kind of lazier approach. But when I see that it's more substantial, then I'm like, no, wait, this person's been around for a while. They've probably got better quality content. They're probably putting in the effort. They probably have value for me. There might be a selfish reason for me to want to watch. And hey, let's feed those selfish reasons that our audiences have, or our potential audience. So, I mean, you got channel memberships. So I really would strongly encourage you to share your subscriber count. Part of it because as someone doing a channel review, I don't know where you're at. If you have 100,000 subscribers and I'm sitting here at 1,000 telling you what to do, I'm going to feel like a bit of a jerk, for one thing. But more to the point, I can tailor my advice knowing where you're at in your journey a bit better. So you click here to subscribe. So it's basically the same thing as the previous channel review, so I won't dive into that too much. You got Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All those links look nice. Your banner, very nice, very clean. I like it. This is good. It's like a minimalist design. It's professional. It also conveys what you're about. I love this banner. This banner doesn't need to change. If I were to change anything, I might make the name and game over part just like a little bigger. But honestly, I would be worried about changing it. You're using the consistent font from the profile and the banner. You're doing some things right here, which clearly that's part of why you have channel memberships enabled. So you've got some consistent thumbnails here. So you're using a consistent font and generally largely consistent color. Not entirely, but that's fine. Using some emojis, or memes, I should say more accurately. You got some flags. Oh, change Steam region to Argentina. That's interesting. And so popular uploads. Your most popular video is 42,000 views, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like the videos that are really getting traction are about regionality in games. So that's interesting. I wonder if you have a playlist on that subject. We do. We do. That's great. I would capitalize all the words in this title just to make it look a little bit more professional, but that looks pretty good. Just wondering. You don't have a description for your playlist. So that's something that I recommend you consider putting in there, because the description also helps with SEO. And so you're already doing very well here. Let's take it a little bit up, a little bit of a micro boost. That's what we're all about here. Small YouTubers boost. Sometimes the boosts are small, but honestly, that can make a difference as well. So the playlist will appear higher in search. And I think that will also help the SEO on the videos in the playlist. So this is advice for everybody. Every video you have should be in at least one playlist. Every playlist you have should have a description. These are just absolute simple basic musts that need to occur, and all of that will help you with SEO and other things in the algorithm. So I do recommend that. So you got your uploads here. That's pretty good. My general feeling about parts, like having multi-part videos, I don't know. Personally, as a casual viewer, if I see something coming up in recommended or search results, and it's part 8, that's a commitment. Because if I want to watch that, first of all, I don't feel like I can start watching in part 8. I would not know what's going on. There would be in-jokes. I wouldn't know the backstory. I wouldn't know what's going on. I would just be lost. So I wouldn't click on that. And if I was inclined to watch it, I would feel like I would have to go back and find part 1, which is more work for me. And I, like most people, are lazy AF. And so just keep in mind that audiences are lazy. And I'm noticing here your recent uploads. Now, it could be subject matter, but I think thumbnails could play into it. The multi-part things here are getting views of 6 to 45 views, whereas your other 2 most recent videos are between 600 and 719 views. And so that probably goes into a lot of things. Like these 2 are obviously in your wheelhouse of where you're getting a lot of your traffic from, talking about regionality. But I think part of it might be the thumbnail. It's possible. I don't know. Now, I'm not that deep into the gaming community and not really deep in the modern gaming community in terms of watching videos. I love playing on my Nintendo Switch, and I got a PS4, but so I'm not totally cutting edge, as you can tell. No PS5 here, at least not yet. But I don't really watch a lot of videos about modern games on YouTube myself, because I'm not into having the plot spoiled by other people playing, but other people love it, and that's fine. So I might not be the best expert to talk about this. In fact, I don't present myself as any kind of an expert, but that's just my thought. And also looking at it, I mean, I haven't played Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know if that image is obviously Watch Dogs. But looking at it, I wouldn't have known without looking at the title. So instead of saying part in such a large font, maybe replace that with the game title, possibly. And maybe if something particular happens in that segment, I notice this is no commentary, so this is just you playing the game. If there's an important event that happens during that segment of gameplay, boss battle, a story twist or something, then that would be an interesting thing. One thing I find here After you have your popular uploads and your uploads, both great things to have, you go straight to a full row recommending a single channel, which is surprising. So I'm guessing that might be another channel of yours. Otherwise, I don't know why it's getting such a prominent place and getting so much area on your channel page here. And it's interesting. It's has 196 subscribers with 86 videos. So I mean, it seems to be a less successful channel than yours. Don't really know what it's about. Looks like the person's wearing a gaming headset, so it might be another gaming channel. That surprises me. I'm not sure that that's a good use of your space. Also, you got here Steam region change tutorials. I would move that up. I would put it in between these two. And whether you have uploads or popular uploads on top, that's kind of up to you. Depends on how and where you want to drive traffic. But I would consider spacing between the two of them because this, I think, is really your bread and butter. I mean, look at these view counts: 1.6K, 5.1K, 1.8, 1.5, 7.6, 18K. I mean, this really seems to be your bread and butter. If you wanted to really be a success on YouTube, treat it like a business, I would niche down to this. Not necessarily just like changing the region, because obviously there's only so many videos you can do about that. But I think that there's parts of it, like you could do more than just Steam. You could talk about VPNs. You could talk about localization and differences in games between regions. It feels to me like the regionality here is really where your audience is being driven. And I bet that if you focused on that, you niche down on that, you could own this if you don't already. In fact, yeah, you know what? I'm curious. I'm not going to do this incognito because I'd have to open another window and change my capture settings. But Steam region change. What comes up? Okay. You're number 2 and number 3. Now, admittedly, this isn't incognito. But you've got number 2 and number 3. But could you take number 1? You're getting views in the same general view count as this number 1 option. So with a little SEO research, you could, if you don't have TubeBuddy, get it. Even if you just get the free version, install the browser plugin. And what I would do, in fact, let's do it now a little bit. I let my premium lapse, so I'm getting ads again. We've got our Videolytics panel here on the right-hand side, because I've got TubeBuddy installed, and you get most of this with the free version as well. And then I click to see what's ranking. And so you can see here, like this video is ranking number 1 on a lot of these search terms, right? But there's some interesting stuff here. This video doesn't have a single like on Facebook. Well, golly, I wonder if there's a Facebook group you could post your video in that might get you a like. I'm guessing you're getting likes on Facebook. There's no info cards added, although TubeBuddy's been a little glitchy about that lately. That might not be accurate. But there's no end screen on this video. All right, I'm stuck in the ad right now. Anyways. So there's some things like this video is not shared on Facebook. This video has not been shared on Reddit. So if you have a similar video that competes with this and you share it on Facebook and you share it on Reddit, then you've got a competitive advantage. You could just be hauling up the Reddit audience there. Let's see if and how it's been used on Twitter. Let me see if my capture will capture that. The video's never been tweeted about. Not ever. It's got 17,000 views and no one's ever tweeted about it. So these are opportunities for you to compete against this video that's ranking just slightly above yours, to draw in a Facebook audience, draw in a Reddit audience, draw in a Twitter audience, and get that end screen on there. And these sorts of things give you a boost in the algorithm, as well as actually helping your channel in constructive ways. This channel's got membership options as well. So, I mean, are they getting members where you could be getting members? That's something to think about. And so you can look at the tags. You can even copy them to your clipboard. Now, I do want to make it very clear that you should only use clipboards that are or you should only use keywords that are accurate. Don't just copy things because they're successful. If it's inaccurate, you could get in trouble for misrepresenting your content. Let's go take a look at this one here. So the number 2 result is you. You're monetized. Well, I'm guessing you're monetized because you got an ad there, but who knows with the new policy change. And look at this. You've got 2 likes on Facebook. Awesome. I don't think you shared it on Reddit. So let me tell you a little something. We've got a subreddit set up, Small YouTubers Boost. If you are intimidated by Reddit, if Reddit scares you a little bit, because it certainly did me, and I'm still kind of there, if I'm being totally honest, this is a place where you can play. It's like a sandbox. You can practice posting, see how things look when you post them through different means, and get a little practice and experience here, and then maybe go find a subreddit where you can appropriately share your content according to that subreddit's rules. So that's just one thing you can do. Have you shared your video on Twitter? Come on. Come on, it's so easy. If you haven't created a Twitter account, just go and create one in the name of your channel so you can lock it down. And then just come here on your own video, click share, click Twitter. And then you can pop it off and send it that way. It's just that easy. I like to delete this via YouTube part myself because I don't think it's necessary. And go in and maybe add like 2 or 3 hashtags. But I mean, at least do that. It's like 3 clicks. Once you set up the account, it's the easiest thing in the world. Get a presence out there. And so you can potentially get more viewers that way. Okay, this looks like keyword packing. That's dicey. I don't recommend that. So what I recommend at the top is, yeah, you should probably have like in full sentence form description of what your video is about. And it should include the full title and some of your keywords. How you doing on those keywords, by the way? Doing okay. Could be better, but you got a lot of 2s there because that other person's probably getting all the 1s. And that's fine. This is problematic. This is what's known as keyword stuffing. So what you've done is you've added a bunch of keywords at the end of your descriptions that are not in English sentences. They're just a bunch of phrases. This is not okay according to YouTube's rules, because this is basically trying to game the system for SEO. What I would recommend you do is go in and put these into sentences in your description and put them up here where they actually come across as like English sentences that people can read. And then you can hit those keywords without kind of cheating the system. I'm a little worried about that keyword packing. That's not great. And given that, again, you have channel memberships, you've grown your channel, you've put some effort in here, I really would hate to see you get in trouble for something this late in the game. So with that in mind, whenever I run into something, honestly, that looks like it's violating YouTube policy, I kind of hit the abort button on the review, just because I don't want to invest my time in a channel that's going to get shut down. I don't want to sound a jerk about that, but yeah, that's just kind of, I'm gonna head back to chat, see if there's other people that need help, but it's a little problematic. All right, let's see here. Anyone ready? We have to like the content. You do not have to like the content that I'm posting, but if you do, that's nice. That might be a question of, do you have to like the content you're producing? I strongly recommend it. For one thing, if you have passion that goes into your content, it comes across. Like, I'm here volunteering my time. This channel's not monetized. I clearly care about helping small YouTubers succeed and trying to make the platform a little bit more fair, I like to think. And hopefully that comes across, because that's something I enjoy doing. I get energy out of this. I enjoy this. And if you're doing it like it's a job because you have to, like a job you don't want. If it's a job that you love to have, that's another thing. But if you don't like your own content, that's going to come across eventually. It's subconsciously, in one manner or another, in the tone of voice you use, the edit choices you make, whatever it is, it's going to kind of come across. The audience is going to pick up on it, and they're going to want to go to somebody who identifies with the content that they're creating. They are going to want somebody who is just ruthlessly pursuing their why. Because that's what people want to see. You know what that's called? When you're ruthlessly pursuing your why and making content you care about, that's called authenticity. And try, looking at anyone giving you advice on growing on Instagram and not hearing about being authentic. Good luck. Authenticity is what people want, especially by sort of, creators like us. There's a reason why, and I don't want to get too political here, but like people who cry fake news. One of the ways that I've read some things about this, about how millennials would say things were fake news without buying into conspiracy theories, and how can both be true? Because for some people, when they say fake, they mean artificial. They mean, it's, Brian Williams in his suit or whatever, Dan Rather, whoever's doing the talking, and they're just reading a copy that they didn't write, saying things that they don't believe. And so for them, the fakeness of it is that it isn't sincere. And so they will get their news source from someone else who seems passionate about it, maybe a Rachel Maddow, or they'll go to YouTube and they'll go to someone like Philly D or someone who clearly speaks with passion about things that are going on. And so I've watched a couple of his videos, and he honestly says, like, I don't care about this, but people keep asking, so here's my take. And he's completely honest and sincere about that. And he's a giant success, I think, in large part to that sincerity and authenticity. So if you're making content that you hate, I would recommend trying to find a way. I mean, if it's succeeding for you and you're a giant success, then that's a challenge all on its own. But if you're doing that and you're not succeeding in a giant success, then that might be why. And so pursue your why as much as possible. That's how you make an authentic product, is you actually make stuff you care about. And your mental health will be better for it. You'll be happier. I'd like to think you'd feel fulfilled. You'd want to wake up every day and edit and film and promote. All right. Yes, I have the beard. Gave it a trim right before the broadcast because I'm sorry I don't like to be ZZ Top. I like Sharp Dressed Man, but I don't want to be Mountain Man Dan. I want to be somewhat Trim Ray. Let's see here. Stupid Raw Fighting League is here for the beard update. Audio was good. No video. Oh, that was probably before I switched on my webcam. I imagine by now you've seen me. God, if I've gone all this time with no video, that would be the worst. All right. Looks like some interesting things in chat that I want to get to. This is cool. Where was I? Hey guys, Maria from the Mod Gang here. Awesome, Maria. Thanks for joining us. There he is. Yeah, okay, so that was probably when I turned my... I'm so far behind in chat, and that's just how we roll here. Let's see. Hey, what's up? What did I miss? Did a couple channel reviews, but you were probably here in time for that. That's Jade of All Trades. Ray started announcing a fun 300K competition. Yeah, in fact, you know what? Let's just quickly recap what's coming, just so that you're aware. So the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group, I've just today allowed it to reach 300,000. We were holding at $299.999 for a while, but we've got some exciting things coming. So this is sort of like the week of 300K for us. We've partnered with someone who shall remain nameless for now until we get everything finalized. But our contest begins on November 26th. And you have to submit something to enter. I'm not saying what just yet. The deadline for submissions is November 30th at midnight my time here in the Pacific time zone. That's Pacific Standard Time. So that's at the end of the day on November 30th. Not the beginning of that day, the end of that day. That always does my head in. And we've got terms and conditions you'll need to agree to enter. And the winners will be selected by the moderating team. We've identified a jury of about 6 or 7 people, I think, at last count from the mod team. So it's not the whole mod team, but some of the mods, myself included. And there are going to be 3 prize packs. The first level is the grand prize, which will be either a GoPro Hero 9 or a Canon Rebel T7 or equivalent. That's a DSLR. What could that do for your channel if you don't already have a camera like that? That could really take things to the next level. I'm very excited for whoever wins that. It also will include one of those 2 cameras and a 4 terabyte rugged hard drive, which is awesome. For those of you who have storage capacity issues and you're like, oh, do I keep my acquisition? I regret every piece of original footage I ever deleted. And I kick myself monthly for not keeping some of the raw footage from like my early cruises from 2013 and stuff. So storage space and back everything up as much as you can. And it will also include, I think, about a year of a free thing from our sponsor. And then we're going to have 2 runner-ups. And the runner-ups will get the 4 terabyte hard drive and that 1 year or so of the sponsor's product. So that's just something to look forward to in the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group. So you got to be in the group to find out the full and complete details once we're ready to announce. But that's just something we've got coming that we're very excited about. So we're just getting all the details ready. I can't grow a beard. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I didn't have one. I just like having a goatee, but you know, for living at home and working at home and quarantine and all that stuff, I'm like, all right, I'll grow the beard. It seems to be what the fans want. All right, Jade of All Trades, we can request channel reviews. May I have one if you have time, please? That was so nicely phrased. I like that. Like the number of people who are like, channel review, bro. I'm like, oh, All right. I like how that was very nicely phrased. You know, that is something to think about if you do reach out to companies about potential sponsorships and other arrangements, free samples, and things like that. If you can phrase things like in full English sentences that is very nice and polite, that makes a positive impression. It shows that you are asking, not demanding. It feels more like, and it shows that you're professional and you can write and stuff like that. And so, Jade of all trades, well requested. So, you know, if there's a reward for most nicely requested channel review of the day, so far you're the front runner. So let's start the clock. The free reviews don't go for more than 30 minutes. If you want more than that, you can contact me privately through Facebook Messenger or a Twitter direct message. And for the cost of basically 2 Big Mac combos, I can do a private paid review where I won't do it live. I'll record it in advance. Then I'll upload it on the channel. You can watch it as many times as you want. We'll link to your channel, and you might get a little exposure for it having been on the channel as well as a little bonus. All right, I just get too many requests to be able to do it for free, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would never sleep. And I like sleep. I miss sleep. So, all right, Jade of all trades. When I search your name, the top 3 results are you, and then the next result down is another channel that has more subscribers, fewer videos, but you have locked down in this username. So there's very little competition, but also very little search volume, and that makes sense. It's not, I think, a common term. Some of the used tags that are coming up in relation to it is comedy, jack of all trades, career, TED Talks, Christmas. You know, I'm very curious as to what this channel is going to be about. You got this sort of the smiley face there. It's nice. It evokes a positive response. You know, when you smile at someone, they often kind of smile at you. It's called, what is it? Motor neuron mirroring or something. I forget exactly what it's called. And so that's kind of nice, but it is pretty generic. It's kind of generic happy face. So it's not really a branding necessarily, but it does make me think that the content will be positive, and so I like that. So if you do decide to change your logo at some point in the future, you want to go for something unique, professional, cleanly designed, and hopefully that also conveys what your channel is about. And that is hard to do with a profile picture because not a lot of space. And so that is a challenge. And so it might not be possible to hit all those things. So for your descriptions, greetings all. I'm called Jade of all trades because I like to do a bit of everything. My content will mostly be funny. All right. So there's a few things here. Those of you who've watched my live streams before probably know what's coming. Cut out greetings all. No one's really searching it. I mean, unless you are about Christmas, and so maybe season's greetings, you might get a little SEO out of that, but I don't really think so. And so your channel description, is, particularly as it appears in search, which I think a lot of people forget that it does, and that's important because sometimes that's how people will discover you. It is your elevator pitch. You have very little time to get your important critical information across to the person to entice them to click. And so by beginning with this sort of like, yes, I would like to thank the Presidential Debate Committee for, you know, setting up this facility. I'd like to thank the university for being here. And, oh, I've run out of time and now I don't have to answer the question. You don't want to burn your time on sort of that housekeeping. You know, you can be very friendly in the opening of your video. I'm a fan of Scott the Woz, and he's like, hey, all Scott here all the time, consistently. You could begin all your videos with greetings all, if you wanted to, and welcome them that way, but I think in text it doesn't translate well. It feels like filler, and it doesn't communicate information, and it's not helping you with search engine optimization. So I would drop that out. I'm called Jade of all trades because I like to do a bit of everything. That's okay. And then you go immediately to my content. Now, this might be a me thing, and again, frequent viewers of live streams, they know what's coming. I don't like the word content. I think for a casual viewer of videos on YouTube, it is a jargon word that means nothing. For example, what does content rule out? Nothing, right? Content can be a makeup video, a Christmas video, a video game video. It can be literally anything. So the word communicates literally nothing about anything, right? And so I think that it's sort of almost like it's almost the YouTube equivalent of saying because it just fills space and time. And I know it's a challenge. Like, I challenge people to not use the word content. I challenge myself to, and it's hard, especially when speaking with other creators. Now, with other creators, it's a way of very quickly referring to your entire body of work. That's fine. But your audience, I don't think, thinks that way. So You say my content will mostly be funny. Also, future tense there. So does that mean that your content is not yet funny? And so I think that when people write their channel description, and this will probably be my last channel review, running a little short on time, unfortunately. So I think that when people write their channel description, it's when they're first setting up their channel, and nobody thinks, "Oh golly, I get to write a profile." I don't think most people get excited about that. Maybe like some writers. A friend of mine, John, who appears on my Vacation Possible channel, he might be like that. He's written some pretty fun profiles over the years. But I think most people are just like, "Oh my god, get me past this. I want to create a video. I'm not here to write an essay. I'm a video creator. Let me just upload a video. Oh, fine. I'll just get past it." And so I don't think we always put the thought and effort into it. Also, we write our channel descriptions when we're first setting up our channel generally, and we rarely go back to re-edit them after we've learned so much, after we've evolved and become more than we were at the time and learned so much more. So I strongly encourage anyone who hasn't looked at their channel description in 6, 12, or more months, maybe go back and take a look at it with fresh, experienced eyes. Is this selling my channel accurately and as well as possible? I'm putting my best foot forward. So I think you could just say, I'm called Jade of all trades because I like to do a bit of everything. Funny, what? Put funny right at the top, because if it's a comedic channel, great. Comedy channels, I love you. You face a difficult road with SEO and stuff, and I'm still trying to figure out how to crack that nut. And if I do, I will share it. And so I really feel for comedy channels. In our Facebook group, when somebody wants to share something, we normally require a 2-word description of the content. But if it includes the word funny or comedy, I normally just approve it, because it's hard. It's hard to describe it, and it's hard to describe it without ruining the joke. I get that. I really do. My heart goes out to comedy channels. I love comedy channels. I'm a huge fan of college humor. I subscribe to Dropout. Like I am on board with comedy on YouTube. There needs to be more of it, but it's hard. So I think that, yeah, just say like funny videos about, or funny impressions, funny reactions, funny gameplay, whatever it is that you're doing. Funny is the descriptor. You need to have the sort of the noun after it. Funny what? If videos is generic, it's only slightly better than content. So hopefully funny something. And I don't know what. Song parodies, maybe. That would be kind of cool. All right. Funny sketches. I don't know. So let's dive into the channel here. And again, largely operating off of first impressions. Okay. So you've got a picture that I kind of like. I like it. The color scheme is different from your profile picture, but you've got the profile smiley face back again, this time white. That's fine. Mainly comedy with a side of crafts, animals, and important topics. Bell, thumbs up, and I guess that's the share icon. So again, I think that you've got a good background image, and the use of the smiley face is fine. Mainly comedy. I would drop the word mainly. It's kind of wishy-washy language. If you were using Grammarly, I haven't. I know some of our mods do, but if you're using Grammarly, I suspect it would tell you to not use that word, and just say comedy. Or like even Microsoft Word these days would probably be like, redundant word or something. So comedy. Now you say with a side of. If you want to go full-on metaphor here, then you could make it like a metaphor of like a meal. And you could say a dose of comedy, or not even dose, because that's medicine. I'm trying to think of like a main course of comedy with an appetizer of, or a side of. You could go that way. But if you're not doing videos about food, then I don't know thematically that would be great. And so comedy and important topics could be anything. I hate to say it, but those words are empty space. They're not communicating information. Topics could be anything, so that's a meaningless word. Important, that's important to you. There's different things that are important to me that are important to you. So it doesn't communicate information. And I understand that maybe you're just trying to give yourself license to go outside of comedy, and I can appreciate that. But you could just say comedy with the sides of crafts, animals, and other fun, I don't know, other interests. Like you could try to add other topics, I guess. I wouldn't say topics though. It's kind of jargony. So you could just say like, comedy with a side of crafts, animals and other craziness. I don't know, something like that. Whatever you want to keep that door open if you want. The bell icon here, it's because it's part of the picture, it's not clickable. The thumbs up's not clickable. The share icon's not clickable. And at the banner's first impression. So asking somebody to subscribe with notifications on, click like and share before they've seen a second of your content, I don't think is a good approach. So I would drop the icons there. You got Facebook here, which is great. What's this thing? Is this Goodreads or something? Oh, Redbubble. Cool. Okay, yeah, Redbubble. So you're like selling t-shirts and stuff. That's awesome. Instagram. What's this one? DeviantArt. Okay, cool. That all makes sense. Your links there are all solid. And the Facebook looks like it goes to, parsing the code here, I assume a page for your brand, which is good. Cat reacts. My cat reacts to her new tunnel. Cool. That's nice. That sounds like it's a pretty strong thing to begin with. 5 minutes long. So at some point you might want to consider a proper channel trailer. But for now, as a stand-in, that's okay. Make a snow person from a sock. Super easy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you might want to say make a sock snow person. And this just says parkour, where it's bad parkour. I think if you said bad parkour and had parkour as one word, so bad and then parkour, I think that would be better. Or parkour fails or something. That might be funny if that's what it is. Or just a fail if it's your sketch. Cat reacts is pretty good. Don't know if the exclamation points add much to it. Virtual trick-or-treating. So again, you got trick-or-treat here. If you said virtual trick-or-treating, I think that would be better in the thumbnail because that would, that's a little bit more like, oh, interesting here. That's a bit more 2020. It's a bit more, you know, relevant for today. Quarantine Halloween. So again, yeah, this just says ideas. If it was a little bit more clear that it was a Quarantine Halloween ideas video in the thumbnail, I think that would be a little bit more compelling. Now, here's something interesting. So, somebody who appears on my Vacation Impossible channel has recently started Redbubble. So, this how-to Redbubble video could be useful for them. I might just recommend it. And so, your popular uploads. It's interesting because your popular uploads are not in line with the brand as presented. You know, money-making apps. I don't know any of those logos, and that's okay. And, you know, how to Redbubble. So this is about, like, online entrepreneurship and making money, which in no way aligns with animals or comedy. So I think you might want to ask yourself, what is your channel truly about? Now, if you want to be a variety channel covering a multitude of niches, you certainly can. But I want you to make that choice knowing a simple truth, and that is that the algorithm will not be helping you. You will almost be working against the algorithm and against recommended. Your best hope is to maybe try and get individual videos to do well on SEO on their individual topics, but that's going to be hard if they're on a channel that's about several different things. When you are consistently about the same kind of thing, the algorithm has increased confidence that that's what you are about, and it is therefore more confident to show your video to people that are looking for these sorts of things. And so I think that it's really worth having, and again, I mean, it might be worth giving this a read or watching Simon Sinek's TED Talk just to think about what is your why. Why are you on YouTube? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want your audience to do or feel or whatever? And then once you have that clear why, use that to decide what your channel is truly to be focused on. Anti-maskers are wild, y'all. That could be funny. It looks like maybe a little Ed the Sock type thing going on there. That's kind of cool. And so it's interesting because you've got a playlist that is just the name of your channel, which absent like actual categories is okay as a placeholder. What do we got here? French songs, ukulele, but that looks like a different person. 13 adventures. That could be about anything. Jade's animal videos. 22 of those. Okay, so you've got animal videos. You mentioned animals in the banner. Cool, cool. So I think your animal video playlist should appear somewhere here. Maybe between uploads and popular uploads, depending on how those videos do for you. Comedy sketches. That should possibly be on the homepage as well. I think that would be good. Based on what I saw initially in terms of your description of your channel and the banner and the logo, I came here expecting comedy. And so seeing a comedy sketches, like I might have clicked on that, if that's why I clicked on your thing. How to use a recorder. Your channel's about a lot of things. Problematic use of swearing. If you want to be monetized, that will probably demonetize some of your videos. ASMR. It really seems like the channel doesn't know what it's about. I'm sorry to say, it might seem a little harsh, but that seems to kind of be it. Let's check the About page here. Please explore my channel as you never know what you will get. See, that's the thing, is that you're asking someone to do a thing and you're not even making a clear value proposition for why it's worth their time there. But we'll be pleasantly surprised. It's so generic. This could be on any channel in the world. And thank you all so much. Not really SEO. It's a nice sentiment. Oh, you're Canadian. Cool. I am likewise Canadian. So it's interesting because one of the things I was thinking, I was like, oh, important topics. I was like, if you're American, your important political topics are probably a little different from mine because I'm Canadian. Or if you're in Asia, what you consider important might be different from what I consider important. But we're both in Canada, so we probably consider some of the same things important, which is interesting. And so I don't know if, the fact that you're Canadian is something that factors in. I'm guessing not, and that's okay. It doesn't really factor into my content that much either. But that was interesting for me. And so, explore your channel. People are lazy, and if you can adapt to the laziness and point them in the direction, to help them be lazy, then they're more happy to go along with it. Make it easy on me, and I'll come along on the journey more likely. But this is a fetch quest with no stated goal. Go find stuff you like, and it'll be there. Don't know what you like, but and we got stuff, and I'm not going to tell you what that stuff is, but go find it. Hopefully you can kind of see the point that I'm kind of driving towards there. So that's kind of interesting. Go back to the home page here. I'm just mindful that I am running out of time and I want to get caught up on chat, but I'll take a quick Chanalytics look here. So we've got some keywords here. It's interesting. So you got Jade of all trades as a single keyword. That's great. Jade on its own is fine. Of and all, not doing anything for you. I would remove those. And I would try, and you got comedy sketch and comedy sketches. That's good. Assuming that's what you decide you want to finally focus in on and how to. Longer tail keywords is my advice. So this keyword right here, of, is literally 2 letters. Over here, the 2, literally 2 letters. So, if we were to, and let's just for fun, I'm going to use my keyword explorer for the word of. Just to make a bit of a point. Just searching the word of. I bet it's going to get a bad score. Poor. 15 out of 100. Offline TV. Offset. Off the ranch. The related stuff isn't even the word of. So short keywords are bad. If you have a giant channel that's getting tons of views, you probably don't care too much about keywords anymore. And you might be able to rank for something like that. What are the results? Professional Darts Corporation. Is what you get when you search of. I mean, it's random. Age of Calamity, because that just came out. All right. Call of Duty. Major change of plans. Has nearly 100,000 views, which is why this is showing up here. Not because it's actually doing well in SEO at all. It's just got the watch time behind it. So the point that I'm making here is that the short search tags are problematic and they're hard to get to. As small creators, what you want to do is start with a long tail keyword. Keywords that are multi-word phrases. And so those, here, let's go Jade of all trades. And I bet you it's going to be more than 15. Although the search volume's, you see, doubled the score there. And so the longer ones that you go for, and again, this isn't being searched very high, which is why it's so low, search volume's low, but if you can find something that has a decent search volume and not a lot of competition, then that's the best place to strike. And as small creators, we need to go for the longer tail keywords because we don't have the advantage of tons of subscribers and, people that are notification squad and that are getting you that watch time to boost the video that way. So you got to do it through SEO. And so you need to niche down and have the longer tail keywords. And then as you get a larger audience, as you get that watch time, because anticipated watch time, most important metric on YouTube, as you get closer and closer to that, then you can start to pursue shorter and more competitive search terms, because then you've got that watch time and that viewer base supporting you to do so. So yeah, longer multi-word ones here. Let's see what's going on for these reviews. No huge spikes there. Subscribers. Okay, so you've had a couple good days for... We gained a couple subscribers, November 3rd and 22nd. That's interesting. So it looks like 22nd was probably a couple days after your video on the 20th came out, so that might have driven some subscribers. But and maybe here, I think that what you might want to do for your channel is consider where your views were coming from on November 3rd and November 22nd. Now, admittedly, 2 subscribers, not a huge sample size, but what I like to look for is spikes. When I see a spike, then I like to go in and look at my analytics. Where were my views coming from that day? What video were they watching and where were they coming from? That's traffic sources. And so if you shared a video very effectively on Twitter maybe that day, then maybe you want to do more of that. Or maybe you shared it in a particular Facebook group or message board or something, or it was a particular video driving those subscribers. If subscribers is an important metric for you, if you're trying to get monetized, trying to get to those 1,000 subscribers, or maybe you just want the community tab or the ability to go live on mobile, you need 1,000 subscribers for those, then you might want to consider if those subscribers are all coming in on the same kind of video, making more of that kind of video can accelerate your subscriber growth potentially. Whether it's the topic or the way you ask for a subscriber in the video, or maybe something about it there. So if subscribers is something you want, I highly recommend you check out our video, How to Get 1,000 Subscribers on this channel. It's good for getting your first or second 1,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, just because we're short on time, I'm probably going to cut the channel reviews there. I just want to get caught up on chat and see how everyone is doing. Sorry, this wasn't longer, but, you know, we gave it at least 90 minutes. Was hoping for 2 or 3 hours, but I was fighting with the new platform to get up and running early on. Oh, that's funny. Maria wants a channel review. I wish I'd run out of time. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again sometime, but I don't have anything scheduled. If you're not subscribed, please do so with notifications on so you can join us early in chat. You just saw it happen. The earlier you get in, the more likelihood you'll get your free channel review. And that's how it goes. But I often go live with no notice just because of how my life works, that I can't always schedule these things. Glass Bottle Game said, hello. Actually, dinner is soon, so review someone else because I'll have to leave. That's funny. Of course, and you're probably not here to see this, but you can come back and rewatch these live streams. I leave them up on the channel, so you can rewatch them at your leisure. Oh, yeah, and Maria said that. Good. Compliments for the beard. So what is everyone's channel about? My primary channel is Vacation Impossible. It's about travel with, since 2013, it's been a bit more focused on cruises. So this is me here, Vacation Impossible. Make that go away. I've got a channel trailer. I'll tell you what we're all about. That's my primary channel. And then, of course, you're on my secondary channel right now. I call it my creator support channel, where I try to give you tutorials, motivational videos, all sorts of useful stuff. Things that'll show you how to use tools like TubeBuddy, help you succeed on YouTube. That's my thing. People saying hello. Dog grooming. The name kind of gives it away, which is great. You want that. Mine is about travel and culture-related stuff in China from an American's view, mostly China travel. That is very interesting. That is an interesting niche. I think you could do very well there. Multi-fandom edits. Interesting. Reminds me, there's someone in our group who did an edit. It was, what was it? I edited a Peppa Pig video for serotonin or something, and it blew up on her channel. And I love that title of that video. I haven't even watched the video. I just love the title. Let's see here. I wouldn't mind throwing a channel in. Review your local ed YouTuber. Educational YouTuber, I guess. Okay. Yeah, sorry, channel reviews are closed. Hey, Achilles was here. Elvis was here. One of our moderators. Joel Peter is pretty active. I think in the group and on this channel watching videos. Sometimes gives me a hard time, but it's probably earned, if I remember correctly. Yeah, sorry about the... Oh, wanted somebody else's channel reviewed. I like the selflessness there. For future reference, I do it by searching the name. So rather than putting a link, if you can put the name, but again, we're closed channel reviews for this live stream. Just got to wrap things up. Got life creeping in on the YouTube. What can you do? Finally caught a live stream after ages. You know, Achilles, I don't think that's you. I think this is the last one I've done. I haven't done one since August. It's been a stretch. Haven't really been able to, so I'm glad I was able to get this one in. Not feeling that good. Are you sick? I hope everyone's feeling well. It's just freezing, nothing serious. Yeah. I don't control the temperature where I live, so I'm a little cold myself. Should wear something warm. I'm going to go throw on my Kenneth Cole zip up, my CK zip up as soon as I'm done here. I don't have a Kenneth Cole one anymore. It died in the wash. Gamers have too much ego. I mean, I'm worried about making broad statements like that, especially if it's negative and judging. But it's an interesting culture because, I mean, gaming is about fighting to win, right? And celebrating your wins, presumably. So I think it might be somewhat endemic that ego plays a bit more of a part of it than it might in other things. I mean, I think also you would think athletes similarly would have similar, because they and honestly, I guess everyone on the platform, like you're saying, come watch me. And so you have to have some sense that what I'm doing is of value to say that. So I think we probably all have egos to one degree or another. There's an excellent book. I don't have it linked or here. Well, I say it's an excellent book. It's actually poorly written, but it has a good message called Ego, Authority, Failure, which is basically if your ego is too big, if you're relying on your authority, then that leads to failure. Like if I was to lean in here and say, do what I say because I run a large Facebook group, that would very quickly lead me to failure. And I would have it coming. Because just because I happen to run and have created a very large Facebook group doesn't mean I don't squat about YouTube. Doesn't mean that my advice is perfect. It doesn't make me, king or anything. Some people think that I think that about myself just because I am the admin, so they just assume that anyone in a position of authority must be power tripping. And so I just caution people against making those assumptions, whether it's based on their position or based on their genre. I think, but I do think I could see how, ego is sort of a naturally for gamers and naturally for people who are YouTubers. So YouTubing gamers, they're in that Venn diagram crossover. It can be a concern. They're over 1,000 subs, 1.12. So I'm guessing that's the channel I was looking at that hit their sub count. YouTube algorithm sometimes can be tricky. Oh, I think all times can be tricky. I mean, that's the thing. Everything about that people say about the algorithm is it needs to come with an asterisk. Say like we're kind of taking our best guess here. I've read some analysis. I've read some white papers that were released and some analysis of those white papers, but those are normally on earlier iterations of the algorithm. So even once we know, it's not the current information. And the algorithm is a machine learning algorithm, which means it changes itself. It rewrites its own code. The people who originally made the algorithm probably still don't fully understand how it works now because it's evolving. So the best we can do is try to understand what information is out there and then also learn from our experiences and from a large sample size of other people. Basically, no commentary. If you're not first, you don't get views. Achilles, I think you make a really good point there. I do, because if you're not adding commentary or anything of your own, it's just pointing the camera at the movie, at the game. And so the first person who does that, for people who want to know how it ends or are thinking about buying it, and they don't need an opinion, they just want to see it, or they just want to watch the story like it was a movie without having to play it, yeah, if you're first, you'll get the views and you'll get that advantage. You could SEO them out a little bit if you do better SEO than them. But other than that, I think over time it gets harder and harder to make a difference. What's the deal about Reddit and not spamming your videos? Yeah, that's a trick. So there's two dimensions to that. One is the individual subreddit that you go to can have its own rules about when you can and cannot share links. So in terms of our subreddit, as long as you follow our general sort of rules, then you're fine. And then there's also broader on Reddit that they ask you to kind of have a good ratio of sharing your own stuff and engaging. And that gets kind of tricky. I'm not an expert in that area, but that's sort of what they're often talking about. I've only got, I think, about 7 minutes or so I need to blast through here. I get dislikes from posting my vids. Getting downvoted is fine. They don't really hurt you because I don't think you can get negative against your karma. It just zeroes out the karma you'd get on that post. So not too much of a concern if that's on, like the dislike on the downvote on Reddit. If you're getting dislikes on YouTube, as I mentioned in my most recent video about negative comments, that still kind of helps you in the algorithm a little bit. Obviously, a like is better than a dislike, but both of them help your channel because it shows that you had an emotional connection with the audience that drove them to do something, even if it was click dislike. So those are actually kind of okay. They kind of help a little bit. Do you like spam? That's funny. Reddit's very picky. You need to be careful. Yeah, I've been banned within like 15 seconds of joining a subreddit because they had impossible rules. It was like, it was, I kid you not, one rule was only share stuff you yourself made, and the next rule was no self-promotion. I don't know how you can do those two things simultaneously. I tried and got banned in 15 seconds. That community was not for me. Oop, my chat is scrolling without my permission. Let's see here. Well, I was doing channel reviews, but I'm a little out of time now, unfortunately. My why is to make people laugh. I especially want to make light of difficult topics so people going through hard times can have a laugh too. Put that in your channel description. Yes, yes, that's great. You explained it perfectly. Copy and paste that into your channel description. That's great. I love that. That is a great why statement. I'm building a frame for, I guess, a voiceover booth out of PVC pipe. That's cool. Respect that. From England, welcome. I made a bullwhip once. Wow. Love channel. I have a DSLR, and honestly, my phone and iPad do a better job for everyday usage. Hey, that's cool. You do what works for you. How do you build a channel with just voiceover and not being on camera behind the camera? That's a good question. One thing that I'm thinking is that for voiceover, a lot of opportunities for collaboration. So you can get new eyeballs there by perhaps doing some voiceover work and volunteering to do voiceover for other channels that can then promote you. That might be one approach you can take. You could also do videos about like how to do voiceover, like, you know, sitting down versus standing, compressing the diaphragm, how you warm up your voice, vocal exercises, how you find voiceover work, how you find collaborations, you know, things like that. There could be a lot of stuff there. If you do impressions, I love a Christopher Walken impression. If you do a Christopher Walken impression, send it to me. You know, so things like that. There could be some ways that you could do that. I think so. Thumbnails, most popular design, made it your profile pic. That works. If you could see my lousy channel and give me some tips, that'd be amazing. Especially from your persona would be dope. I appreciate that. If you want to do a paid one, like I said, the cost of 2 Big Mac combos, reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or Twitter DM. Unfortunately, I'm out of time for today. May have to work on channel description. Often a good thing to look at least I'd say once a year. I remember being reviewed by this guy. I hope it helped. I hope it wasn't too savage. I mostly do comedy skits. College Humor died. They didn't exactly die. The holding company sold them to one of their employees, and so he's doing his best to keep it alive, and I really hope it survives. So they fired almost all their staff, but they still have Brennan in terms of on-screen talent. And so, like, not too long ago, they put out a If Google Was a Person quarantine edition. Very funny. I recommend checking that out. And of course, they've partnered with like Dorkly and Lowbrow and stuff like that. So, you know, they recently put out an animated Troopers episode that was pretty funny. Limitless Edis. Unfortunately, I'm out of time for reviews. I'm okay being a variety channel, having a hard time. That's cool. Back for the beard. It's my issue as well. Love tech videos, but the stuff gets views is not really tech related. Sometimes your audience does kind of push you in a direction. It's up to you if you want to go with it or not, and either is fine. Wrote notes, definitely try to change things around, have issues with knowing what I'm about. Hey, it's all part of the journey, right? Movie Maker, Movie Maker sucks. Premiere Pro for free. I'm not going to talk about that, but I use Premiere Pro and I like it. Haven't used Resolved. Audacity's pretty good. Never used Audition or Reaper. Yeah, channel trailers are good. Go for 60 to 90 seconds if possible. Maybe 30 to 90 seconds. Let's see here. Hear from the group. Looking forward to growing with you guys. Awesome to have you. If you have to rap, I can beatbox for you, Ray. Well, I have to wrap presents soon because the Christmas is coming. Oh, puns. Awesome. I'm going to make a page on Facebook. That's a good idea. Or a post on the Facebook page. Good idea. I'm a Windows guy myself. What about the extra authority that comes from your beard? That's an interesting question. I wonder, like, does having a beard make you feel... Does it make people think you're smarter? Is it like the equivalent of having glasses, where some people think that makes you look smarter? I don't know. Let's see. Just noticed that's a direct correlation. Successfully joined the subreddit. Yeah. Professional NLE. Don't know what that is. Been a part of the Reddit for a while now. Glad finally caught a stream. Cool. All right. So anyways, I need to wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. And I like to leave you guys with something actionable to do. So what should it be today? What would I recommend everyone do? Okay. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to look at every single one of your playlists and make sure that each one of your playlists has a description. When writing a description for your playlist, try to include the keywords that the videos in that playlist are targeting. That is your mission if you choose to accept it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to catch you in a future live stream. See you in the Facebook group. Good luck everyone who's going to enter that contest. And this live stream will self-destruct in 3 seconds.